Good evening and welcome to live coverage of Brighton and Hove Albion versus Reading here in the Premier League Cup. One of 5 competitions Shannon Ruth's young Seagulls will be competing in this season, and tonight they open the group stages against the inaugural winners of this cup, Reading, who lifted the trophy back in 2014. The Albion got past Reading's senior side last year on their way to making history in another tournament, the EFL Trophy. Perhaps a result today against the Royals Academy can be a good omen for a positive Premier League Cup campaign. A look at the lineups then, starting with the Seagulls. Shannon Ruth makes 9 changes from the 1-1 draw with Wolves in the PL2. Only Mullins and Simmons keep their place. There are first starts of the season for Owusu, Bashir, Flower and Moulton. First appearances of the season for Stephen Hall and Charlie Penman. And there is a first appearance at this age group for 17-year-old Callum Mackley at the back. Perpion and Mills round out the 11. Former Reading forward Noel Hunt opts for just 3 changes in his starting 11. The suspended Barrow is replaced by Basil Tuma, while Kai Sauce and Kai Garrett lose their starting roles to Boyd Beecroft and Jack Senga. Rowley, Ahmed, Spencer, Stickland, Holtzman, Saki and Omareji all keep their place from the 2-0 defeat to Nottingham Forest in the Premier League 2. Well, despite the overwhelming success of the Albion's academy over the last 5 years, this is a competition they haven't reached the knockout stages of since 2018. A chance this time around to put that right, and that all starts today against the academy of the Royals, who finished 6th in the PL2 league table last season. A fine season for the Berkshire-based outfits. Seagulls looking to make some history of their own, though, in the PL Cup. Captains for today, Jamie Mullins for Brighton and Hove Albion, and Michael Stickland for Reading, the referee, and Jason Richardson meeting with them in the middle. He'll be assisted by David Nicholson and David Pilling, with Andy Bennett between the 2 managers in the dugouts. For those of you not familiar with this cup, it was set up to be the FA Youth Cup equivalent for under-21 side, expanded this year, 9 groups of 4, the winner of each group automatically through to the round of 16, with the 7 second best placed finishers joining them there. And in the group stages, each team will play each other home and away, so the Albion have doubles with Burnley, Luton and of course Reading to look forward to over the next few months. Well, Yusuf Owusu stands over the ball in the centre circle, the 18-year-old, part of a much-changed Albion 11 for today, who will stamp their mark on this evening and on this competition in blue and white as the campaign gets underway. And the Premier League Cup group stages are underway in Lansing. Swept forward by Mackley up toward halfway. Early pressure from Reading. It's a bit of a frantic start by both sides. Moulton facing his own goal, and he's had his pocket picked. Penman. Mills can bring it forward in a left-back position. One of the more experienced names out there today, Cam Perpion, playing just ahead of Mills up that left flank. For a lot of these Seagulls players, the 24-25 season represents a first campaign playing outright with the under-21s. Freddie Simmons. Lofted away by Hall. Was well read by Shea Spencer, who will continue to give chase. It's not the best of back passes by Penman, but Hall can smash it into the stand. Thrown backward by Ahmed. Beecroft. Reading looking forward, but the Albion do enough to see it back to goalkeeper Matthew Rowley. Mentioned ahead of kick-off, this isn't a competition that's been particularly kind to the Albion. Did make the quarter-finals, though, back in the 2017-18 campaign. And the season before that as well, where Reading were also quarter-finalists. Good foot in there by 17-year-old Mackley. Reading take over with a throw through Beecroft. Reggie. Now Shea Spencer. Can't sort his feet out. Jamie Mullins wriggling free. And winning a free kick for his troubles. Captain's armband fastened on the bicep of Jamie Mullins for this season. Taking over that responsibility. It's been fantastic since arriving from Bohemians in January of 2023. Gone from strength to strength. And earned that captaincy with his performances. Chance perhaps for Bashir. Beecroft scrambles clear. Albion will take their time. Romero Moulton wanting to take it quickly. It will be left to Callum Mackley. Now Bashir. Nifty footwork from Bashir. Chance for Moulton to cross. And deflects behind for the first corner kick of the evening, which will go the way of Brighton and Hove Albion. And Cameron Perpion is going to assume the responsibility. Blue and white shirts gathering around the penalty spot. And Jamie Mullins waiting short. Curled in by Perpion towards the middle of that penalty area and then struck goalwards by Harry Mills. Ambitious and rising, but worth a go when the space opened up. Matthew Rowley will have a goal kick. Launched forwards by Rowley. Beecroft tussling with Bashir. Wanting a free kick, not getting one. Albion will take over with a throw. Always going to be an adjustment period when so many changes are made. As I mentioned, the 9 for the Seagulls. Owusu gets a nasty one on the end of his toe as he hooks that in the direction of Moulton, and unsurprisingly, play stopped by Jason Richardson. Looked to saw one by Yusuf Owusu. He's still down on a heap. Midfielder, signed from Chelsea in July of 2022. Here's Freddie Simmons, England Youth International, trying to break lines with that through ball. Mackley back to Simmons. Stephen Hall. Dink towards Cameron Perpion. Now back with the Royals. Game yet to really get going across these opening 6 minutes. Holtzman bringing it forward for Reading. And there might be a chance here from Romero Moulton. Good industry appeared to win the ball back for the Albion. Back with Reading again. Penman. Slightly too forceful into the back of Basil Tuma. Senga. Lovely diagonal from Stickland, and now perhaps space for Tyler Saki. Stickland. Jack Senga at the base of Reading's midfield today. Sliding challenge from Bashir, and now the Albion can spring forward with Jamie Mullins. Perpion into space. It's a lovely first touch from Cal Perpion. Does he have the finish? Inches away from the Australian. Well, collected that beautifully from Jamie Mullins, who had wriggled free. Pulled slightly wide. The angle was against Cal Perpion. Almost found the corner regardless. It remains Brighton and Hove Albion 0, Reading 0. First attack of note from either side. Unsurprising to see Cam Perpion on the end of it. A couple of seasons ago, the 22-23 campaign, Perpion really made some noise at the academy level. A goal-scoring run towards the tail end of that season. Saw increased involvement with the Albion first team, eventually making his Premier League debut in May of 2023 off the bench against Newcastle. There was a start for him last year in the FA Cup against Wolves as well. Miss kick from Freddie Simmons. And we'll cede the corner to Reading. Shay Spencer to take the outswinger from that far side. Curled towards the near post, not the best delivery you're likely to see this evening. And it will end in a Stephen Hall goal kick. Late summer gloom just hanging over Lancing at the moment. A brisk evening here in the rolling hills of the Downs, and Stephen Hall sets himself to take this goal kick. Foot race between Senga and Flower. And Flower forces Senga into a mistake. Seagulls will have a throw. Penman. Now Freddie Simmons. Spun over the top by Penman, only lands at the feet of Rowley. Long from Holtzman. Bashir on the second ball. Omoreggi. Senga. Straight to Simmons. Space for Mullins to turn. It was just off the back of Louis Flower. Mills steals in neatly. Reading will have to settle for a throw. It's been certainly a cagey and physical opening 10 minutes in Lancing. In the Premier League 2 meeting between these two last season, Reading came out on top 3-0. That was on form, as it were. Reading finished 6th in the newly reformatted Premier League 2 last season in the league format. A really impressive season for the club, given that there was fears over whether their academy would even exist with the financial problems in Berkshire. Stickland. Rowley. Again, it's sent long off the boot of the Royals keeper, Penman. Owusu manages to divert it back to Penman. Clearance is blocked. Basil Tuma will give chase, and Mills has given it away. Best spell of pressure that Reading have had in these opening exchanges. Chance to cross from the right. It's over the head of Stephen Hall. Omoreggi sends it back goalwards, and then a acrobatic dive. He's not catching the interest of the referee, Jason Richardson. It was Tyler Saki that went over. And then truth, it appeared he was always looking for it. Lovely flick to try and release Mills. Ahmed alive to the danger though. Mackley can't help that one down the line. Chance for Reading to take over with Beecroft, captain of the Royals under-18s last season. Now stepping up to the 21s. In fact, it is a very inexperienced Reading side at this level. Most of this group, it's their first year with the 21s. Only really the two centre-backs, Holtzman and Stickland, have played significant minutes at this level. Here's Camp Perpion. Lovely turn of pace and numbers gathering in the penalty area. On goes Perpion. It's a fantastic sliding challenge to see it away from Stickland. A wicked shift of gears from Camp Perpion. Left Ahmed in the dust. Cross couldn't quite find a blue and white shirt in the middle. Here's Mullins. Lofted towards the back post, just beyond Freddie Simmons. Mackley home to Stephen Hall. Mullins. Penman can slow things down. Plenty of touches for Albion keeper Stephen Hall so far this evening. Mills leading the charge for the Seagulls. Now Perpion. Romero Moulton to Bashir. Bashir's left-footed effort looked destined for the corner. Mackley to Owusu. It's Bashir again. This is looking good for the Albion. Dink towards the back of the net, and it's a brilliant save in the end from Matthew Rowley. Not one I think he was expecting to have to make. Neatly worked. Bashir just squeezing it wide, and Moulton, I think he was attempting to cross, but forces a good save from Rowley nonetheless. Signal goes up from the Irishman Jamie Mullins. In swinger from the left into a good area, and over the top and away off Beecroft's head. Quarter of an hour gone, still Brighton and Hove Albion 0, Reading 0 in the Premier League Cup. Best chance of the game going the way of Camp Perpion. Mullins delivers again. Matthew Rowley claws it away. Basil Tuma wins his side of throw. Holtzman sends it up the line. Simmons. Penman to his centre-back partner for the evening, Freddie Simmons. Fresh off the back of an England under-17 call-up again for Simmons. Part of the camp that played games against Mexico and Germany. Mackley to Owusu under pressure. Saki that's chasing and harrying the Albion players down. Albion, you feel, just starting to pull this Reading pressure around, and now they've escaped. Perpy on the outlet again. Plenty of blue and white sprinting to get alongside him. And just one touch too many in the end from Cam Perpion. Tuma can't bring down the long ball forward. Penman with the throw. Simmons in towards Moulton. Magnificent drop of the shoulder. Wins the Albion a free kick. Everything perhaps a little rushed, a little hasty, and that is in response to quite how forcefully Reading's pressure is being applied. You feel it only takes one killer pass for the Seagulls to work themselves in behind, and they might just have found it. Perpion. Taking over is Mullins. Ahmed away. Basil Tuma into Saki, but a foul had already been committed against the Maltese Youth International. Holtzman. Louis Flower nibbling at the heels of Jack Senga. Tuma. Spencer into Senga again, starting to find his feet in that Reading midfield. Mullins gets a toe in, and Stephen Hall will prevent the corner. Lofted forward, Ahmed to give chase. He might keep this in play to the byline, but the offside flag is up against Ashkar Ahmeds. And the Albion will have a free kick. And Penman wants to take it quickly. Owusu taking a chance. Showing good strength to keep hold of the ball. On goes Yusuf Owusu. And eventually, the referee's whistle comes to his aids. Mullins, always evasive in midfield. Mackley. Bashir. Good sliding challenge from Beecroft. Callum Mackley. Assessing his options from this throw. Darkness now well and truly fallen here in Lansing. Looking back from Mullins. Penman in towards Cam Perpion, and he's the wrong side of the Royals' back line. Moulton in the middle. Options arriving. Perpion shoots alone. Runs instead for Jamie Mullins. Another block, this time from Stickland. Clever flick from Mills. Not a bad touch either from Perpion. This one does find its way through, but deflects onto the advertising hoardings. And Reading hold firm again. A lovely flick from Mills. Perpion's touch was neat, and the block was strong. Albion corner. Jamie Mullins to take the set piece for the Seagulls. 3 assists for the under-21s in the league last year. Whipped goalward by Mullins. More up than out from the Royals. Owusu wanted to strike at it, will get his chance, and it dribbles just wide. Another sight of goal. Plenty of red shirts between Yusuf Owusu and the goal, but he found clean contact and very almost found the bottom corner. Stickland. Shea Spencer. Dangerously close to giving it away. Basil Tuma almost does. Another big challenge on Yusuf Owusu, who's been in the wars already tonight. Mackley. Toe in from Omoreji. Callum Mackley to take again. Well, truly in the spirit of the Albion as a club, Shannon Ruth no stranger, or certainly not shy of giving opportunities to youngsters, all relative at this level, of course, but Mackley at 17, stepping up an age group from the 18s to play for the 21s tonight. And Shannon Ruth has always used this competition in a similar vein. We've seen plenty of the current established Albion under-21 players make their breakthrough in the likes of the Premier League Cup, the Premier League International Cup, and the Sussex Senior Cup. Mackley is the man that gets his chance this evening. A second-year scholar. Holtzman. Mackley. Into Owusu. Ball slightly too flat to pick out Perpion. Ahmed sprinting clear. Basil Tuma. Mills. Senga. Dropping the shoulder against Mullins. It's a good delivery. And almost a very nifty finish from Rhys Evans. It's been quiet so far this evening, Evans. When Senga got clear of Mullins and put in a driven ball towards the near post. Across his man. Evans almost managed to divert it goalward. Mullins. Hove. Reading have won it high. Saki screaming for handball. Referee disinterested. Bashir guiding it into the feet of Moulton. Albion will counter. Here comes Louis Flower. Flower to strike for the Seagulls. It's off the upright. It might run for Bashir. Moulton drives it through the crowd. And now Bashir, but still it's kept out. The swiftest of counters by the Seagulls. And Shannon Ruth will be wondering how they haven't taken the lead. 3 blue and white shirts had an effort at that. It was such a clean break. Flower got clear left of centre. First effort off the upright. Bashir left it for Moulton. Then had a go himself. And when it found Flower again, there was enough red shirts between him and the goal. Well, the DNA, the fingerprints of Fabian Herzler's first team all over the Albion there as they broke in number, flooding forward. It's just as we've seen the senior side do so far this season. And only the upright denying the home side the lead. Penman. Chipped into Moulton. Holtzman in an advanced position for the centre-back. Omoreggi. On goes Omoreggi. And straight down the throat of Stephen Hall. Penman fizzed into the feet of Harry Mills. Seagulls will start again. Hall looking down the middle. No Seagulls player there. Interesting to see how Reading are setting up without the ball, desperately trying to bait and tempt Stephen Hall into certain passes out from the back so they can press and squeeze the Seagulls. We've almost had success in that exact manner a few times. Away by Holtzman, straight to Owusu. 1-2 with Mackley. Can open up his stride and keep eating up the space in front of him. Perpion. Bounces through to Mills. Chance to deliver. In towards Moulton. Can pluck it out the sky. Marvellous first touch from Penman. Perpion. Penman. Simmons. Reading sat deep. Albion probing for openings. Here's Perpion. Simmons for Mullins. And now Perpion, and maybe just space for the first time in a little while for the Australian. Moulton. Running out of room. On goes Cam Perpion. Jamie Mullins. Swivelling into space. Lovely run from Jamie Mullins. Cut back towards Flower and struck by Bashir. It's blocked by Holtzman near on the goal line. More fantastic defending from Reading. Penman will drive forward again. Intercepted by Senga. And smashed long by Matthew Rowley. Bashir denied from just a few yards out by a fantastic block. And the Albion remain frustrated on home soil. It was a splendid run from Jamie Mullins. Reading could not touch him. Rolled it along the face of goal, and all Bashir had to do was pick a vacant space of net. And two red shirts converged on him quickly. Meanwhile, Matthew Rowley down in the Reading goal to have a goalkeeper on the bench in Harrison Roan. Rowley far more experienced, joined Reading At a very early age, has already had loans at a senior level to Beaconsfield and Dover of non-league football. Made 9 appearances in the National League South last year. Roan, on the other hand, just coming up from the under-18s this season. Shannon Ruth just explaining the adjustments he wants made by his side. A chance to look at that Louis Flower effort that came back off the upright earlier, well driven, tried to catch Rowley out at the near post. Moulton's follow-up to central, and then from then on it was fantastic defending from Reading. Bodies on the line to keep the Albion out. And they've done that well today, Reading. First 10 minutes, not much to separate the two sides, but the Seagulls have wrestled control of this first half, created the clearer openings. And it looks like Matthew Rowley is set to continue. Haven't seen that substitutions board raised, so Holtzman can get us back underway. Long diagonal from Holtzman. Header well won by Harry Mills. Perpion. Freddie Simmons. Evans up against Simmons. Ball will stay with Reading. Best chance of the game for the Royals, no doubt falling to Rhys Evans. That full volley, he tried to divert goalwards, ended up behind the goal. Boyd Beecroft. Thrown back to Holtzman. Owusu. Tall, rangy midfielder. It's off Bashir and away. A Reading throw. Ten to go till half-time. Still Brighton and Hove Albion 0, Reading 0. Watching along on My Albion TV. If you want to keep track of everything going on with the Albion Academy on both the men's and the women's side, you can follow the new Academy account on X at BHAFC_Academy for frequent updates. Omoreggi to the corner flag. Neat ball in field. Given away, though, by Senga. Physical sliding challenge from Tuma. Back to Senga. Tuma can't take it in stride. Will run nicely for Saki. Mills does well to bring it down. Mullins weaving his way through the middle. Bashir. And Moulton. Cross towards the back post, and Rowley at the second attempt scoops it to his chest. You can hear the voice of Noel Hunt in the Reading dugout. Long and respected playing career across the EFL, a winner of 3 of the 4 professional leagues in England, won League 2 with Portsmouth, League 1 with Wigan, and the Championship with Reading. Made 3 appearances for the Republic of Ireland internationally as well. Now Reading's under-21 manager. Holtzman. Happy to slow things down. Senga is fouled by Louis Flower. Well, this game started at a frantic pace and it hasn't really slowed. And credit both sides for that. There's been a relentless, restless energy about proceedings. Holtzman, Omoreggi. Holtzman again, colliding with Bashir. Evans holding it up and free kick's been given. In fact, it's the assistant on the far side has given an offside against Reading, and the Reading dugout audibly frustrated that Holtzman hasn't received a free kick after colliding with Bashir. Freddie Simmons to take. Penman. Given away. Evans back to Matthew Rowley. Stickland. Albion will take over with a throw. Mills into Mullins. Back to Harry Mills. Penman trying to see it out for another throw and uses his strength well. Ticking towards half-time, and only the upright and some last-ditch Reading blocks have prevented the Albion taking the lead. Haven't called Matthew Rowley into action too many times. Reading have always looked to threat on the counter, and they have the ball high here. Wusu penalised for a handball, and this is a very promising position for a Royals free kick. Holtzman appears to have pulled rank, and there doesn't appear to be too much debate on the Reading side either, so a real chance here for Louis Holtzman. Already netted once this season in the 5-1 defeat to Fulham. And Stephen Hall will have to be alive to this. This is an ideal position to try and get a ball up and down over a wall. Four in blue and white stand between Holtzman and the goal. Holtzman steps up and strikes just over. Had Stephen Hall diving. Never really came down, certainly had enough power behind it, but not the necessary dip to test Stephen Hall. And the Australian remains untroubled in the Albion goal. Bashir, deft footwork to keep that in play. Mullins, Mills, chip towards Moulton. Bashir sprinting to try and latch onto the end of it. The offside flag already up against Romero Moulton. Long from Fowler. Beecroft. Owusu will challenge in the middle. Senga works clear of the pressure, but can't keep the ball in play. Mackley will have a throw. Last 5 minutes or so, a game played mainly in midfields. Been a while since either side created a meaningful chance from open play. Maybe Perpion can change that. Moreggi. Strong challenge from Mills. Mullins snaking away. Now Bashir, he's been lively. Mackley. Moulton. Cam Perpion. Simmons slips as he goes to send it forwards, and Reading can't take advantage. A yellow card appears to have gone the way of Freddie Simmons there, for perhaps trying to impede the long ball forward from Reading. So Simmons the first to go into the book. Picks up a yellow card for trying to stop the Reading counter-attack. Rowley to take the resulting set piece. Curled wide. Perpion wins it. Mullins sticks his shoulder into Shea Spencer with slightly too much vigour in the eyes of Jason Richardson, the match referee. And the half rather petering out unless either side can come up with something late on. Stickland. Again, Perpion does his bit defensively. Mills thrown to Perpion. Lapse in concentration. Will give Reading the ball back in an advanced position. And Shea Spencer has won a corner kick. So in stoppage time at the end of this first 45, the red shirts can pile forward once more. And a set-piece opportunity awaits. No shortage of size and height in this Reading 11. In towards the near post, it's Holtzman that glances it towards the back of the penalty area, and the offside flag up. Simmons just loses out to Evans. Moreggi brings it down. Foul had already been committed. Reading free kick. Albion just being tested here at the end of this first half. Reading starting to feed off the scraps of some long balls forward. Shea Spencer stands over another free kick. High Albion line, chipped forward by Spencer. Back across the face of goal, brought down by Rhys Evans and deflected to the arms of Stephen Hall. And that will do it for the first half of action. Only the upright and some resolute Reading defending denying the Seagulls, meaning that half-time at Lancing, it's Brighton and Hove Albion 0, Reading 0.
Shouldn't touch. Sort it out. Hear that way, I can't hear a pass.
Welcome back to second half coverage of Brighton and Hove Albion versus Reading in the Premier League Cup on My Albion TV. Nothing to separate the two sides after the first 45 minutes here in Lancing. What does the second half have in store for us? An engaging game, a physical game, but ultimately a goalless one as well. Seems unlikely to stay that way if the first half is anything to go by. Brighton being denied by the upright and also by plenty of hard-working last-ditch blocks by that Reading back line. Bashir, Flower, Moulton and Perpion all going close. And it will be Reading to get this second half underway. Twice in the last 4 years, Reading have progressed to the knockout stages of this competition. Records that bests the Albions. But at the moment, two sides firmly locked even. Tyler Saki stands over the ball in the centre circle. And the second half of action is underway with Stickland. Can't see any changes from either side. Mullins trying to find Owusu. Rhys Evans takes over. Holtzman has tried plenty of those floated balls already this evening. That one drops at the feet of Ahmed. Crossing towards the near post. Simmons away. Neat touch from Moulton, and he's fouled for his troubles. Stephen Hall, one real save to make, came in the last action of that first half, the ball deflecting up in front of him from Rhys Evans' strike. Penman. Mullins, quickly out his feet. Bashir, awkward one to control, but control it he does. Owusu under pressure. Pressure he's able to turn clear of. Same can't be said for Louis Flower. Reading again, showing a great deal of intensity with their press. Basil Touma. Ahmed looking for any red shirt that might be available. And struck over the top by Shea Spencer. More promising, though, from the Royals. As I said, last time these two sides met as under-21 sides, it was a 3-0 win for Reading in the Premier League 2 last season. The last time these two sides met in any format, the Albion under-21s beat Reading's senior side on penalties in their historic run to the quarter-finals of the EFL Trophy. Albion throw up the left. Harry Mills. Collects it back. Space for Romero Moulton. Simmons. Mackley to Owusu. Freddie Simmons again, just 16 years of age. His England under-17 teammate, Harry Howe, waits on the bench this evening. Sahil Bashir is brought down. Albion free kick in a position of some promise. Set pieces have been few and far between for the Seagulls this evening. And Jamie Mullins will have the chance to conjure something up here. He has been the most lively player on the pitch for the Albion. There was a yellow card issued in the direction of Boyd Beecroft for Reading. Perpion has now joined Jamie Mullins, so both a right footer and a left footer standing over this set piece at the corner of the penalty area. If it is to be swung goalward, you'd think it favours Jamie Mullins. If it's to be crossed in, it favours Cam Perpion. The Australian delivers the signal. It's Cam Perpion to deliver. It's in a good area and it strikes the thigh of Freddie Simmons and deflects behind. It was hard and low from Cam Perpion. It was begging for any sort of contact, really. Always gave the Seagulls a chance, put in that area, but it bounces harmlessly off Freddie Simmons and away. And Matthew Rowley will have a goal kick. Bashir, 3 red shirts for company. Through to Louis Flower. Perpion on the overlap. It's Cam Perpion for the Seagulls. It's 1-0. Finally, their efforts are rewarded. Bashir with the cute through ball between the lines to Flower. He was able to hold it up and help it through to Cam Perpion, who in the end could take his time and roll it in the corner. All about that flick from Flower. The Reading defenders committed and left Perpion free, and he dispatched it in the bottom right from inside the penalty area. It's Brighton and Hove Albion 1, Reading 0. And it's no less than the Seagulls deserve for their efforts thus far. Flower again, immediately into Ahmed and takes a chunk out of the fullback. I wouldn't be surprised to see Louis Flower getting the spot of bother here. Just a talking to, it seems, from Jason Richardson. Ahmed. Senga. Ahmed to take the throw. He's got Basil Tuma down the line. Instead goes backwards to Michael Stickland. Player that's already made 4 first-team appearances for the Royals. Was 17 on the day of his first. Away from Mackley. Mullins helps it on, and Ramiro Moulton is off to the races. Moulton chops it round his man, is brought down, surely a free kick or a penalty for the Albion, and nothing doing for Jason Richardson. Well, you can hear the reaction from the Albion dugout. Ramiro Moulton appeared to have beaten his man, all ends up, and was wrestled to the turf, and Jason Richardson not interested. A real surprising decision. Up the other end, it seems Harry Mills is going to go into the book. So it's all happening here at Larsing. Game exploding into life following that goal, but certainly a surprise when Ramiro Moulton got away, got one-on-one with Louis Holtzman, and got the wrong side of the centre-back inside the penalty area. The arm appeared to come across from the Reading number 6, and the appeals were waved away. Settled down now, Michael Stickland with a free kick. Albion pressure coming through Bashir. Away from Holtzman, who might have got away with one just moments ago. Simmons. Brought down by Senga. Here's Rowley. Again, lofts it long. Mills with the first header. Perpion leaping for the second. And Mullins and Perpion quickest to react. Well, it is two dugouts and two groups of coaching staff that seem bang up for this one this evening. You have to fear for the eardrums of the fourth official, Andy Bennett, and the assistant on the near side as well. They have taken a battering. All in good spirit, of course, as Penman races down towards his own goal. Is beaten to it by Rhys Evans, but the offside flag is up. And the Albion will have a free kick. Just joining us on My Albion TV, it is Brighton Hove Albion 1, Reading 0. Cam Perpion's finish the difference thus far. From just left of centre, curled it into the bottom right. After nice work from Louis Flower. Stephen Hall. Mullins. Sails out of play, Reading throw. Penman. Owusu. Wrong side of Shea Spencer, who brings him down crudely and will go into the book as well. The card starting to tot up here in Lansing, and Shea Spencer can have no complaints and will not complain about going into the book there, bringing down Owusu, who had turned him. First start of the season for Yusuf Owusu, Albion's number 6. Limited to just 9 appearances last year for the under-18s. Bashir. Perfect touch again from Sahil Bashir. Simmons. Couldn't find a blue and white shirt. Mackley being ushered forward to take this throw. Flower. Basil Tuma. Senga was looking wide, but only found the feet of Bashir. Owusu. Another powerful run, and again, Albion's midfielder wins a free kick. Coming up for the Seagulls under-21s, they play Wickham in the EFL Trophy before travelling north for Premier League 2 trips against Nottingham Forest and Middlesbrough. And once more, a reminder, you can follow all the updates from those fixtures and everything else going on with the Albion Academy on the men's and women's sides at BHAFC_Academy on X to stay updated. Here's Freddie Simmons. Not his best touch of the evening. Basil Tuma takes over in the middle of the park. Ahmed. Space perhaps for Saki. Omoreggi looking for the half yard. May just have found it here, Omoreggi, and only finds the advertising hoardings with the effort. Stephen Hall wasn't sure. Flung himself towards the bottom right. Neatly worked by Reading. Omoreggi never stopped moving after playing the 1-2. And never quite caught a hold of it as he would like either. Mackley. Debutant has grown into this game. Harry Mills. Perpion, one-on-one against Ahmed. Mills on the overlap. And now Mills is clear, and Ahmed recovers well. Approaching the hour mark at Lardsing. Albion have the lead in this Premier League Cup group stage game. And they're going to make a couple of substitutions as well. Yusuf Owusu is going to make way for Joe Knight, a midfielder, a like-for-like swap. We're also going to see Josh Duffus, who's already netted twice in his 3 PL2 appearances this season, come onto the pitch as well. And it will be Sahil Bashir to make way for Josh Duffus. Bright, lively performance from Bashir. Couldn't quite find a goal, was denied by a couple of good blocks. And Owusu had taken a few hefty challenges this evening, perhaps that going into Shannon Root's thinking. So Knight and Duffus on, and their first action will be to get forward for this Albion corner kick. Towards the head of Knight, it's running clear towards the back post. Simmons couldn't hook goalwards. Mills. Freddie Simmons. Moulton held by Holtzman, the two tussling again. First chance for Joshua Duffus, and puts in a good looking cross. Reading will break at speed. Saki. Now Rhys Evans. Shea Spencer. Stickland can keep it alive. Back down the line to Spencer. Dangling his foot over the ball at Perpion. Reading showing patience. Holtzman. Breaking lines. Ahmed. Spencer on the overlap. Stephen Hall answers the call. Blocked by Mackley, and Mullins can help it clear. The door starting to creak though, and Reading will keep knocking on it. Stickland again. Back into the mixer and headed off the upright and away. Rhys Evans with a free header inside the 6-yard box. And he's put it wide of the mark. And the number 9 for Reading can't quite believe it. Wave after wave of attack rolled up to the Albion's door. Finally, Stickland, the centre-back, crossed it in from the right wing, right onto the head of Rhys Evans. And he is headed wide from inside the 6-yard box. Saki. Reading a little braver with the numbers they're committing forward in this half, and it's no surprise. Senga to Stickland, who put that inch-perfect cross in moments ago. That pass anything but inch-perfect, and Cam Perpion can surge the other way for Brighton and Hove Albion. The Australian goes on, careering forward, looking for a cross and almost finding Louis Flower. Holtzman doing just enough to see it away. Joe Knight. Mackley. Now Duffus. Towed forward by Moulton. Cleared away by Holtzman again, who's done that enough times this evening. Certainly earning the applause from his teammates, Holtzman. Cam Perpion wandering over to drive this one into the penalty area. Already got a goal of his own. Perpion, can he tack on an assist here in Lansing? Whipped in by Perpion, away by Holtzman again. Mackley. Simmons. Penman. Home to Stephen Hall. Very highly thought of at the Albion Academy is Charlie Penman. Every year the football writers at The Guardian pick their best academy product from each club, and Charlie Penman was that man for the Seagulls in 2022. And a foul throw means possession will change hands to the Albion. Going to see another substitution on the Albion side, and this is a name and a face that many Seagulls fans will be excited to hear. Harry Howell is going to come onto the pitch, and a young man that's collected just about every accolade there is to collect at this level, fresh off the back of a successful goal-scoring spell with England under-17s playing up an age group. He enters the fray in place of Ramiro Moulton. Scored 2 versus Mexico in the September international break and created a lovely goal for England under-17s versus Germany. Ahmed. Howe chasing down Holtzman. Colliding with Holtzman. Slightly too eager, arriving off the bench. And Jason Richardson not quite done talking to Harry Howell yet. Holtzman slowly clambering back to his feet. Reading will have a free kick. Rowley. Killed dead by Ahmed. Not a bad second touch either. On goes Ahmed. Can't quite find Evans, and Duffus scrambles it clear. Perpion. Looking for Duffus. Reading sees possession back in the centre circle. And Ahmed stretching every sinew, can't quite bring that one out the sky. Mullins collects it off Hall. Lovely touch by Mackley. Here's Harry Howell. Swept forward towards Perpion. Not the necessary bend to release Cam Perpion, whose goal remains the difference here in this opening group stage fixture in the Premier League Cup. Burnley and Luton, the other two teams that the Albion will play home and away in the group stages. Also have the Premier League International Cup to look forward to again, the Seagulls, where they will be joined in that competition by Reading for the first time. Mills, Penman, wonderful work. Mills to Perpion. Albion in full flight again. Mullins. Perpion. And just overran it slightly. Goal kick the decision. .20 minutes left to play. Reading yet to really test Stephen Hall. Just a feeling there's plenty more chances still in this game, though, with the way it's panned out. Mackley. Ahmed. Shea Spencer. Joe Knight takes over in midfield for the Seagulls. Harry Howell. Mullins. Now Flower. Duffus in space over on the right. That's where it goes from Louis Flower. Howell screaming for it, but it's overhit by Josh Duffus. Seagulls with a throw. Referee Jason Richardson just wanting a closer look at something. We'll delay the taking of this throw by Callum Mackley, who, as I said, is making his first start at under-21 level. First game at all at this level, and has grown into the game, got better and better as it's gone on. The number 2 with the ball in his arms. And still we wait to get the game back underway. Yellow cards brandished to Jack Senga, defensive midfielder in Reading's 11. Joe Knight brings it down well. Here's Jamie Mullins. Penman. Mills. Perpion once more. Mills driving goalwards. Can he pick out a blue and white shirt? Palmed away by Rowley. It's back with Cal Perpion. It's a fantastic effort. It's a brilliant Seagull second. 2 for Cam Perpion, 2 for Shannon Ruth's side, and that might just have put this one to bed. Off balance, an awkward angle, but a fine curling effort into the corner. It never really looked on when Cam Perpion was facing away from goal. He shifted his hips, opened up his body, and whipped it in the far corner. A long way from the outstretched arms of Matthew Rowley. Brighton and Hove Albion 2, Reading 0, and the Seagulls in control on home soil. Reading will make a substitution in response. Jeremiah O'Keane-Peters coming on in place of Shea Spencer. But it seems a long way back with just over a quarter of an hour left to go. Maddox McMillan also making his way onto the pitch. Boyd Beecroft will make way. So Beecroft, a left back off. McMillan taking his place. Jeremiah O'Keane-Peters on in place of midfielder Shea Spencer. Reading kick off again. Perpion's double has them pegged back. Stickland. Mullins. Home to Stephen Hall, who is the youngest ever goalkeeper to play in the Australian A-League. Played in goal at just 16 years of age in Australia's top flight. A rarity in that position, rarity in any position really, before signing for the Albion in January of 2024. Howe. Perpion again, he's on a hat-trick. He might fancy his chances here, Perpion. Perpion up into the arms of Matthew Rowley. Had options on there, but who can blame him for going alone? Another substitution on the Seagulls side. Jacob Vickers is going to come on, and Charlie Penman makes way. So Charlie Penman's first game back with the Seagulls was a successful one. And Jacob Vickers, who the Albion pinched from the academy of Luton Town in July of 2023, on in his place. Mills into Knight. Inventive flick with the outside of his boot by Knight, and Hal tries to release Duffus, who wasn't quite on the same wavelength. Knight. Not too much room to work with. Hangs it up towards Perpion. Oh my word, what a way to round out the hat-trick. Cam Perpion take a bow. 3 fine goals, but he saved the best till last. Joe Knight seemed trapped in a corner down there on the right-hand side, hung it up into the penalty area, begging to be hit, and boy did Cam Perpion hit it. Arrowed towards the top corner, leaving Matthew Rowley with no chance. The Australians got 3, the Albion have 3, and that is game, set and match here in this Premier League Cup opener. A puff of the cheeks, an exhale of breath from Cam Perpion. I think he's surprised even himself there. Had a long way to pluck that out from the sky. Watched it all the way onto his laces and smashed it beyond Rowley. Freddie Simmons. Stephen Hall. Been confident and assured with the ball at his feet tonight, Stephen Hall. And he's pinged a nice ball there through to Joshua Duffus. And he's no slouch. Duffus for a fourth. It runs to Flower. Perpion might have a nibble at it, but it's slid away by Ahmed. Flower can't quite believe he hasn't notched himself. Created by Duffus. And it just got caught under the left boot of Louis Flower. Mullins. Perpion again, full of confidence. He's on to shoot once more. And bounces into the arms of Rowley, but not before it had crossed the line and gone out of play. It is all Albion at the moment. The tide well and truly turned in their favour, and what a professional performance it has been from the under-21s. And Shannon Ruth came out on top, were left frustrated, had to ride a wave of Reading pressure at the beginning of this second half, but held firm and have really taken charge as the games wore on. In from Mullins. Away at the near post, Mills. Perpion. Looking for help. Harry Howell towards the bottom corner. And Duffus couldn't get there, was offside anyway. Well, Reading, one of only two teams to twice make it to the final of this competition, winning it in the inaugural season of 2013-14 and losing to Swansea in the 2016-17 season. Not starting their campaign this time around the way they would like. Another substitution on their end. Kai Source on. Omoreggi is off. Kai Source, normally a left wing back or left back. Omoreggi had been playing on the left. Simmons. Jamie Mullins kept things ticking over for the Seagulls in midfield today. Louis Flowers fouled. Free kick on halfway. Joe Knight. Ahmed as far as Flower. Perpion. Arrowed towards Josh Duffus. Howell for support. Also has Knight with him. Duffus might not need any help here. Freddie Simmons has let that bounce, and that might release Rhys Evans. Reading might not be done yet. Evans just seemed to run out of steam. Mackley towards Harry Howell. Mills, player that has tasted first-team football with Burgess Hill of non-league, a work experience loan there last year. Perpion into Mills again. Back towards Harry Howell, and there's the fourth. Well, Harry Howell's stock just keeps rising, and he's notched again for Brighton and Hove Albion under-21s. Still playing up an age group, still just 16 years of age. But finding the back of the net, just as he did in his debut for Shannon Ruth's side. Didn't have a lot to do. It was created by Harry Mills, who cut it back to Howell. And Howell curled it into the corner. It's Brighton and Hove Albion 4, Reading 0. And Reading will have to pick themselves up again. It is the name on everyone's lips, Harry Howell. mentioned his exploits with England under-17s across September. Scored a brace on his PL2 debut last year. Already netted once this season against West Bromwich Albion, and has another in this one against Reading in the PL Cup. He's watched his cousin rise through the ranks, the same journey as him, Jack Hinshelwood, from under-7s all the way through to the Albion first team, and surely will be dreaming of the same pathway. A family legacy which just keeps having chapters added. Here is how the goal scorer, Simmons, Knight, out towards Perpion. Reading out on their feet, and perhaps that early pressure, that early industry is starting to take its toll. Duffus looking for number 5. Blocked again. Knight. Perpion. Mullins can't break free. And Ahmed is gifted the Seagulls a corner kick. They have turned on the style in the last 10 minutes or so, and Reading are looking rather depleted. Jamie Mullins running at Saki, taking him into the penalty area. Dinking towards Howe, Duffus through the crowd. It's a brilliant save by Rowley in the end. Can't have had a good view of that, Matthew Rowley. Still so much intent about the Albion every time they get the ball. Senga loses out to Harry Howe, who's strong as he holds him off. Jacob Vickers back to Stephen Hall. Knight. Mackley loses out. Senga trying to square. Chance perhaps to strike goalwards by Maddox McMillan, and it hits Basil Tuma and rolls harmlessly at the feet of Stephen Hall. Well, as I mentioned, Reading do have the Premier League International Cup to look forward to. A new adventure because of their fine finish and fine performance in the Premier League 2, the league last year. They'll take on Ajax, Monaco, Zagreb and Valencia. As for the Albion, they have been invited back to compete in the Premier League International Cup and have games to look forward to against Leipzig, Real Sociedad and Anderlecht. Competition they made the quarterfinals of last year. Here's Harry Howe. Can't get the ball off him at the moment. Howe goes on. And it's a whisker away. Again, had Matthew Rowley scrambling. Wasn't quite sure where that would end up. Stickland. Holtzman. And perhaps the scoreline harshest of all on the two Reading centre-backs who made so many blocks, so many clearances in that first half, only to find themselves victims of 4 goals in the second. Here's Maddox McMillan. Can't pick out that far corner. Deflection means it is a Reading corner kick. Assessing where it's gone wrong for Reading this evening. They just had such an energy, such a fire in their belly for the opening 60 minutes of this game. were relentless in the way they chased the Albion down and pressed them. And it just appears as if it's caught up with them a bit across the last half an hour. They do have a corner kick here. Into the near post. Stickland fighting for it. Given away by Howe. Duffus. Kai Source. Basil Tuma now. Maltese youth international. In from Holtzman. Macmillan. Formerly of Reading's neighbours, Aldershot Town. Joe Knight smashing away, and now Brighton and Hove Albion can get up the pitch. As I mentioned, a trip to Wickham in the EFL Trophy on Tuesday. Another chance to test themselves against men's senior side for the Seagulls. Mullins. A delightful ball, but Joshua Duffus hadn't made that run. It's through to Rowley. Into the 90th minute we go. Tuma bundled over. And Jacob Vickers just charging into the back of Basil Tuma. Reading will have a late set piece, but the game rather a foregone conclusion at this stage. So Reading with a chance to reduce the deficit late on. Plenty to aim at in that penalty area. Stephen Hall organising his back line. He'll be desperate for that clean sheet. Into the 6-yard box it goes. Away by Howe. Chipped forward again. Wide to the left. Blocked by Mackley this time. Back to Akeem Peters. This time Knight gets in the way of it. And Stickland can see it out for another Royals corner. Akeem Peters to deliver. Holtzman's header. And dangling a leg at it was Basil Tuma. The result is a goal kick. Hall scooped away by Vickers. Flower quietly had a very good game this evening, Louis Flower. Howell has released Perpion. Still hungry for more. Perpion. Mullins. Cam Perpion again. And wins the corner kick for the Seagulls. Down in a heap by the post. It's just been full of running all evening. Cam Perpion setting an example to the younger ones around him. 20 years old, is up there with the oldest out there for the Seagulls. Swept towards goal. Reading will lead a counter. Saki. Cut out brilliantly by Mackley. Now Harry Mills. Perpion thought about the pass down the line to Mills, instead checks inside. Pass off the mark by Joe Knight. Reading have kept going. We'll keep pushing forwards. Ahmed. Stickland's given it straight to Duffus. It's 4-on-4 if the Seagulls get this right. Harry Howe setting himself, looking for Flower. O'Keen Peters. Still we play on here in Lancing, and credit Reading, who have kept going till the very end. Basil Tuma. And that will do it. The Seagulls start their Premier League Cup campaign in style. A hat-trick from Australian Cam Perpion and a fourth from Harry Howe means it finishes in Lancing. Brighton and Hove Albion 4, Reading 0.